I work for the Food Sovereignty branch of Meskwaki Natural Resources, and I'm going to do a little demo on making spigots or spiles or spouts, taps for tapping trees for sap in the spring. So this particular stalk is an elderberry cane. Elderberry is a common kind of shrubby bush that grows around Meskwaki settlement. And of course, I don't know if you've heard of elderberries, but they're really good for you. So, you know, we're glad to see big stands of elderberry here and there. And when we go to gather our canes for making the spigots out of, we're kind of just looking for a certain size. So we don't go out and we cut all of them, you know, because some of them are too small, some of them are too big. And that's a rule with gathering, no matter what you're gathering, whether it's mushrooms or in the spring there's different types of plants that come up, like ramps, which are kind of a wild leek. And you don't go and you don't pick all of them. You pick some, you know, and you leave the rest for others as well as to grow back next year. So this one, I'm gonna just cut a length. It's usually about, I'd say, somewhere between 12 and 16 inches. And you can get, out of one length of cane, you can get 2 spigots out of there. So the tool I'm using is just a little hand saw. Nothing too complicated. You can use just a regular big hand saw. You can use like a coping saw. A lot of times you can just see what's handy at home. You don't need a lot of fancy tools for this. So I've got my length of cane here. And to make the 2 spigots, I'll mark this with a Sharpie so you can see how this is split up apart to make 2 of them. So this is the top end of spigot number 1, and I'm going to mark a line. We want to cut halfway through along this line. And then you flip it over to the other side and do the same. And so you're just doing a line about halfway through. And then those ends, you make a line lengthwise joining the 2 points right here. Once I get this drawn out, I'm going to hold it towards you so you can see it better. It's a little bit of a rough line just because you know, the woody part of this plant's kind of rough. But you can see, so this one's cut halfway through, and we're connecting this. This one's halfway through, and then now I'm going to connect these 2. And that's where the cuts are going to be made, to split these 2 in half into 2 spigots. Right about there. Now, if you're working at home and you have a table vise, it's nice to be able to put this in the vise to cut it. But you can just, like my stepdad, he just uses my mother's old wooden cutting board at the kitchen table, and he just lays it on that. Sometimes when I'm sitting outside making these, I'll just do this on the tailgate of my pickup. So you use whatever's handy, but I have to say the vise is pretty handy. But I'm gonna use this log here as a sturdy surface. It's not real hard. This cane, elderberry cane, is, you know, it's just a shrub, so it's not super tough. But you want to take your time and be patient to just cut right there to that halfway mark. You know, kind of clean it up just like that. Now, if I'm holding that right, so we'll do the other end. It's on the opposite side. Once again, cut straight across, just halfway through. And then check it once in a while, just make sure you're not cutting too far. That looks good. And then next, I score this lengthwise with my utility knife so that I can split the two apart. And when you're doing this scoring, you don't have to press down super hard. You're not trying to cut all the way through it. You're just scoring it, and then you go over it. You can go back over it 3 or 4 times to get a deeper groove cut. This is, I like doing the scoring method because it makes a real clean split. Let's get this other side scored. Like I said, if you're your first time through, if you're trying to press too hard, a lot of times you'll go off your line and stuff. So just press hard enough to make a nice thin cut, and you can go back over it a few times to get it deeper. Now, one of the most popular methods of doing this is just twisting it to get it to split. I like to keep it like right on that line. So I'll use a little wood chisel. Of course, this is a big wood chisel. You could use a stiff putty knife to split these. Like I said, this isn't real tough stuff, so a putty knife would do the trick too. So I kind of get that side going, and I'll switch over on this side, and that gets this side going. Yep, it's almost completely apart. It doesn't take much. You don't have to overkill. It's best to use a light touch and some finesse on this, because then you get it split apart. Just really nice. 2 nice spigots out of that one length of elderberry. What's nice about elderberry, there's another material that's people like to use to make these spigots, and that's sumac. And the sumac spigots will last longer, but you usually have to use your drill to clean this out because it's just a little bit harder. The hardness makes it last longer, but then it's just a little bit more challenging to work with. I make the spigots out of both. I don't have a whole lot of sumac close to my house, but I do have elderberry, so this is what I use the most. And the nice thing about elderberry is it has this material called the pith, and this stuff is soft. It's just really easy to scrape out. It's kind of I don't know how else to describe it other than it's kind of like a foam. And once you get the spout part scraped out, then you can push out the stuff that's the tap end. And if you want to, you could use your drill. I'll grab my drill quick. But you can just do this by hand. You don't have to have power tools. This is my drill that I was using to tap the trees with. And so, if you want to use your drill, you can go right ahead and it cleans it up. This stuff is soft enough that you can just scrape it out pretty easy. Now it's up to you if you want to clean these up, all of the bark off of them, or you can just get the tap part ready by using your utility knife, or just your regular pocket knife too will work. Just to whittle the end, you want to taper that down because this is the part that goes into the tree. And what I figured out that works best for this, so here now you can see that part that's hollow all the way through. It's going to tap into the tree like this. It's best to just clean it up a little bit and then wait for your final tapering when you're actually tapping the tree. That way you can custom fit it, right where you're out in the bush doing your tapping. But there you have it. Then I just need to finish this one up. But there's how you can get 2 spigots or taps out of a length. I'd say that's about 14 or 16 inches. Sometimes, all you have left is maybe 12 inches or 10 inches. Then you'll make 2 little taps out of it. This isn't exact measurements. This is all kind of, you just eyeball it. But that's how you get your 2 maple taps.